School is evil. Yes, school is evil. School teaches you how to be a slave, how to be a beta male, how to be a pussy, how to be a low-income loser for the rest of your life. And in this video, I'm going to give you the 4 reasons why school is evil. Now, when I say school, for you right-wing, conservative Christian types, I mean all school. I don't mean public school is evil, but private school is great. No. We live in an era now where private schools in most of the Western world are just as bad as public schools. I have personal experience with this. I was raised in both a private school for many years and then a public school for many years. And that was back in the 80s before the collapse of the USA and the Western world began. Today, and I can give you numerous examples, I know a lot of people with kids. These kids who go to private schools are just as fucked up, maybe 10% less fucked up in terms of the bullshit that they're learning in these schools than the kids in public school. So if you have this fantasy, my kids will go to private school. Private schools suck balls today. Private schools are evil. Public schools are evil. They are all evil. I am not the first person to make this observation. George Carlin, 25 years ago, had a whole bit about this, where he said schools are designed to train you to do 2 things. They want you to learn just enough to operate the machinery and manage the paperwork. And that's it. They don't want you learning anything else. Schools are designed by the elites, by big government, including private schools, by entrenched interests to design you to be a good little worker bee drone. They are not designed to make you smart. They are not designed for you to live a great life. They are not designed to have you start your own business, certainly. They are not designed to have you be a critical thinker. They are not designed to make you long-term happy. That is not the priority of any of the people behind the school system. And there are many of them and there are many interests. This is not just a left-wing thing. There's a lot of reasons why schools are the way they are, okay? You have to understand that because you went to school, including private school, you are fucked up in the head. When I talk about in The Unchained Man, my book on societal programming, a lot of that is from what? School. And you're going to have to spend, starting at age 18, a bunch of time and effort in your life cleaning out the bullshit that you were told in school. I went through this myself in my early 30s, and it was painful, but I did it. And then I became successful and happy, lived a great life. This is how this works. All right. Let me teach you the 4 reasons why school is evil. Look at my notes here. Here's what schools teach. They're the 4 things that schools teach that are wrong and that teach you all the wrong things. Number 1, do exactly what you're told at all times. Obey, obey, obey. You are supposed to sit there in your little desk with your hands crossed and not speak and not squirm around and listen to what the fucking teacher says and do exactly what she says. And if you don't do that, they're going to say you have ADHD. And they're going to send you to the principal's office. They're going to punish you. They're going to call your parents at home and all this other bullshit. Wrong. That is not how the real world works. In the real world, you have many options, and often what you're told is bullshit. Most of what society tells you is bullshit. Find the right woman and marry her, and you'll be fine forever. Vote for Donald Trump, and he'll make America great again, right? Democrats don't go to war. Everything you've been told is bullshit. So you have to learn to question what you have been told. And you don't just question the people on the other side of the political aisle as you. You question everything, because everyone's full of shit. You can't do what you're told. That's the opposite of what you learn. Again, school is designed to teach you to be an obedient little drone slave. And you are severely punished if you go anywhere outside the lines. When I was a little kid in my private Catholic school, I had a big mouth. I have a very loud projecting voice. I got in trouble all the goddamn time for talking. All the fucking time. Later on, when I was an older kid, I was an atheist. I'm not an atheist anymore, not exactly. But I went to a Catholic school and they said, draw a picture of God. I'm like, well, I don't believe in God. So I drew a picture of an octopus and I got in big trouble. Yeah. This is what school teaches you. How to be a beta. How to be a pussy. How to be a low testosterone slave. Do what you're told at all times. That's the first thing. Second thing, and this is the biggest problem most of you have. I talk about many of you are LISGs, which is L-I-S-G. It stands for low income smart guy. The number 1 reason that you are a LISG, that you have a high IQ, you're smart, you never make any money, number 1 reason by far, number 1 barrier to success with my audience, and I see this with you guys in the YouTube audience, or the Rumble audience, or the blogging audience. I see it in our coaching programs. I see it when I work with people one-on-one. I see it with everybody. The school system teaches you, including private schools, don't make a mistake. If you make a mistake, you're going to get a C- on your report card. And the teacher's going to frown at you. And your kids and your fellow classmates are going to make fun of you. And you're going to take it home to your mom and your dad. And your parents are going to look at it and go, what the fuck? Why'd you get a C-? You are told throughout the entire process of your childhood in the school system, making mistakes are bad. And so then you grow up in your 20s, 30s, and you're now this Lissig, low-income smart guy, and you're now terrified of starting a business. What if I pick the wrong niche? Well, what if it's the wrong business? What if I make a mistake? Or going out in the woman world, things like that. What if I say something wrong and she yells at me? What if my girlfriend breaks up with me? What if? And now you're a terrified little pussy, horrified that you might make a mistake. In the real world, mistakes are a requirement for success. I've said this 10,000 times. I'm pretty successful. I make mistakes all the fucking time, often publicly. I don't care. Why? Because I know the more mistakes I make, the more money I make, the more pussy I get, the more enjoyment I get in my life by making mistakes. Instead of thinking, don't ever make a mistake, because that's what the public school and private school system teaches you, so it's wired in your head by the time you leave college or high school. Instead, their actual belief is making many frequent mistakes is a requirement for success in any area of life. So in other words, once again, school is evil. They're teaching you the opposite of reality. Number 3, this is the next thing school teaches you. Do everything by yourself. Don't get help. If you take a test and you're caught looking up answers on the internet or ChatGPT or having your friend help you, you will get in big fucking trouble. Right? Right. But that's bullshit. That is not how the real world works. In the real world, especially when you start a business, you get help. I have tons of help. And you should too. You don't do all this shit yourself. In the dating world, for woman success, I didn't go from divorced beta male dad to guru level pickup artist dating coach guy in 2 years. All by myself. I had tons of people on the internet helping me. I looked at forums, I read books, I engaged in lots of help. And the income I make now, I get a lot of help. I can't do all this myself, and neither can you. But the fucking goddamn school system teaches you have to do everything all by yourself. Don't even use a calculator. That's my favorite. Don't use a calculator, that's cheating. Why? Why did you get a calculator cheating? In real life, when you're doing math, you're not allowed to use a calculator? Fuck you, school system. How insane is this? It's so fucking dumb. So then you were raised to believe I have to do it all by myself. I'm all on my own. Oh dear. How could I ever make, $300,000 a year all by myself? You don't. You get help. You get a lot of help. Are you insane? You're not insane. You're just brainwashed with bullshit societal programming because school is evil. And what's sad is many of you are sending your kids these school systems. God. Okay. Number 4. This is fun. This is the fourth thing that schools teaches you that is evil and wrong. There's only one right answer to every question. Now, outside of mathematics, that's bullshit. In math, yes, there's only one answer. Yes. And sometimes even sometimes in science, there's only one right answer, but sometimes there's more than one answer that is correct. Most of life doesn't work this way. There are many possible answers and many possible solutions to problems and questions. How do you make $300,000 a year location dependent? Is there only one answer? No, there isn't. There are several businesses you could start, and you can do one in several different ways. Of course not. How do you date 3 or 4 women on rotation all at the same time without any drama or cheating, and you tell them all? Is there only one answer to that question? No, there's several answers. Now, some are better than others, but there are several answers. In any given scenario in life, you're going to have multiple paths, and your job is to figure out which is the best path for you. And if that path doesn't work and you make a mistake, you pivot and do the next path, which is normal. So these all tie together and exacerbate each other, these 4 things. School is evil. Last thing on this. If you have small kids, or you ever plan on having small kids, homeschool them. If I had children right now, my kids are grown, so this is irrelevant to me. If I had kids now, I would not have them unless the OLTR wife I was getting with, and this would be part of the OLTR talk before she became my OLTR. I said, look, if we want kids, They're being homeschooled. And I'm not doing it because I'm busy working. So either you, sweetheart, are going to homeschool them, or you need to find someone that have these like homeschool groups to homeschool our kids. I will not send my children to any school, including a private school. And I make enough money where I can send kids to the best private schools in the world if I wanted to. Fuck no. I don't want them filled with a bunch of bullshit because school is evil. Is homeschool ideal? Well, I don't like homeschool because they don't get the social interaction. The data doesn't agree with you at all. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Okay? You don't get as much social interaction when you're a kid, but once you're an adult, there's no difference. And homeschool kids do very well in life, including emotionally. So that's just bullshit excuse. Well, I don't have time to homeschool my kids and she won't have time. And all right, make all the fucking excuses you want. If you're sending them to school, you're sending them to a cesspool Mordor of evil where they're going to be trained with all the wrong shit and have a bunch of bullshit in their head, and they're going to have to spend years of their lives digging the shit out of their head, or more likely, statistically, they won't bother doing it, and they'll just live fucked up lives like everybody else. School is evil. Recognize this because you went to school, and if you're going to have kids, recognize that with them too. Think about it.